focus is changing.
If I do that and then run away, then in theory...
Eh? Is it recording?
I have pressed it. Yeah. It's recording.
Okay. Alright, great. Do the sound, you see.
Oh, well, yes.
Are you recording it, audio? Hi, we've just finished recording Children of the Stone with the lovely Gareth Thomas here. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for doing this interview. So, just a few questions, basically. I mean, how did you get the part of Adam in the series?
I can't remember. It's 30 years ago. It's more than 30 years ago. I can't remember. I don't think I auditioned for it. I think I was asked to do it and read it and said yes, yes, yes. It's an extraordinary piece. It's what you would now, I suppose, call kidult. It's certainly not for children only. I know a lot of adults who love it.
Absolutely, me included.
Well, and me. And years ago, I don't know what they aimed at, whether they aimed at, it was put out at a sort of children's slot, but I think it's a bit above, well, not above. But,
I love that. I mean, a lot of children's stuff is almost dumbed down. And
yes.
This isn't.
This isn't. No, not at all.
The main characters happen to be children. I love that. It's great. I wish I'd do more stuff like that.
In fact, the main characters really are the two children, but also the two adults. I mean,
of course.
It's the whole family.
Yeah,
it's great.
Course. It's great. So, what did you think of the series when you made it originally?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, apart from the script, which were very good, and the cast, which was super. I mean, Viggy and Cuthbertson and Freddie Jones, etc., etc., etc. Filming in Avebury itself was fascinating, lovely. I mean, you can't find a better place to film, really. And it was filmed, I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was a beautiful summer. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and it was just great. And Bristol's a lovely place where we were based initially.
It's beautiful.
It's lovely. So we had a fantastic time doing it. I think we were rather sad it came to an end.
How long did you film it for? Roughly.
Well, I think it was probably, in those days, it was something like 10 days for an episode, I think, something like that. I think.
How times have changed.
Oh, yes, so very much. Now it's 10 episodes a day.
Well, I mean, how do you think it's changed over time, though, having that luxury of having all that time for each episode?
Well, I think it shows, to be quite honest. And the way it's being made up now, in a lot of cases, is computer graphics. Because you can do that quickly and carefully and whatever. You don't need actors either. So it can be done much easier. I mean, a friend of mine said to me recently, he said, I've been told to cut back and doing a series. And I said, what way? He said, well, I've got the same scripts. And he said, but when I had a week to do it in, I've got to do exactly the same job in 5 days. He said, that's where they're saving money now. They're, to all intents and purposes, doing the same thing, doing the same script, doing the same everything else. They're just squeezing it closer. And I think that shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been told when I've been doing television, I can't remember what it was now, but I said, can I do that again? And they turned around, and the producer said, was there anything wrong technically? And the director said no. I said, well, fine, we'll go on. And I thought, well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not happy, miserable, but there you go, that's the way it's gone.
Yeah, it's all changed. I mean, there has been talk, perhaps, of doing a sequel. Do you know anything about that?
Well, yes, I know Jeremy's written a sequel in book form at the moment. At least I don't know whether it's published as a book, but I mean, I've got it sort of in a book form, called Return to the Stones, which is not the same, but it's the same characters, a lot of them, in the sense that I was Adam, the middle one there.
Yeah.
I am now the grandfather living in the village. And Matthew, my son, is now the father, and he has a son.
Brilliant.
So you've got 3 generations in the next one, but you've got Adam coming, still there, which is lovely.
That is.
We got on very well with Jeremy.
Are you still in touch with anyone from the cast?
Jeremy, yes. I mean, I've since he got hold of me when he wrote Return to, I've spoken to him 2 or 3 times. I've also been in touch with 1 or 2 of the others when I did a I don't know what you call it, a voiceover for a DVD thing,
sure.
or an explanation thing for it. And so, I mean, I haven't really kept in touch with the youngsters, but I've worked quite a few times with, well, sadly he's no longer with us, with Ian Cuthbertson after that, and Freddie Jones was like a surrogate father to me. I've known him for 40, 50 years nearly.
That's nice.
And he's still around.
Acting family.
Yes.
I love that. So what was the reaction the series got at the time?
At the time, it was well received, but strangely enough, it seems to, although it's not been reshown on television, I don't think, recently, it seems to have suddenly sort of come back. An awful lot of people are talking about it. I go to conventions. I did a series called Blake's 7, science fiction series.
Yeah.
And I go to the occasional convention there, and the number of people that ask me about Children of the Stones, they all say how good it was. And I said, well, some of them were too young to have seen it when it first came out. I don't know when it came out on DVD, but that's obviously had quite some considerable effect. I've never heard a bad word about it.
Well, it's great, so, you know.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Why would you?
I mean, I think it was a wonderful series. I really do.
Yeah. Do you think it should be remade, or it should be, because a lot of people, when you have a nice classic, they like to remake things. What are your thoughts on?
It doesn't particularly bother me. I don't see much point in doing that.
No.
I mean, Jeremy's written Return to Stones. I mean, that's not a remake, but it's moving it on, which is fine.
Exactly.
Remakes I don't like. They talk about remaking Blake 7, and I say, well, it's nothing to do with me, so I'm not interested. If you want to do it, do it. Take the risk.
Yeah. Sequels all the way.
Yeah. Yes, it's not the same.
So why do you think it still appeals to people? Why is it so iconic?
Well, funny enough, reading it just now, I was thinking to myself, actually, this is way out of date, isn't it? I mean, all the instruments they're using are out of date, and there's no computers there, there's no mobile phones, none of that. Yeah. And yet, it still very much holds up. And I think Jeremy and Trevor, also co-wrote Trevor Ray, did a wonderful job in, first of all, grabbing both youngsters and adults with a story which was, I won't say it's possible, but it's not really science fiction, and it's not really fantasy. It's a very clever line they've drawn, and I think that resonates with people.
Yeah, it's easy to understand. It
yes,
appeals,
yes.
But at the same time, it's not dumbed down.
No, not at all. And I think that's why it appeals to people. They sort of connect with it immediately.
Intelligent thinker.
Yes.
So how did you find revisiting it after all this time, so to speak?
Oh, it's nice to know the story again. I mean, you see, I've never seen myself on television, so I can't remember it, you know.
What, you've never seen anything you've been in?
No, not unless I'm doing a live chat show and they throw something on the screen. You can't totally avoid it, but I mean, otherwise,
like
no. Well, no, I'm not looking. No, but I mean, no, I haven't. And so I tend to forget stories. I knew roughly the story, but I can't remember the details of it. It's very nice to actually have all the details thrown back at me.
So now with all the special effects, if you were in something with lots, would you want to know what they've done with it?
No.
No?
No. I mean, the thing is that if you watch us, as far as I'm concerned, if I watch myself on television, I want to go out and do it again properly. And you can't. And you can't watch yourself on stage, so what's the point, really?
Yeah, maybe.
If I'm going badly wrong, that's what a director's for.
Well,
say,
that's true. Yeah,
let's not try something else, guys, whatever.
Okay, so what is your favourite memory from filming it?
Oh, nothing to do with it, what it was, but my favourite memory is that because we were filming actually inside the Avebury Circle, which is where it's all supposed to be, there were, of course, a lot of gaps in the stones.
Yeah.
And so the props guys put up these massive, wonderful-looking polystyrene stones. I mean, they looked exactly like the real sarcens.
Yeah.
And we were having a lunch break one day, and lunch had been bought to us, sandwiches and whatever, because we were quite away from the nearest place to have lunch. And we were all sitting around leaning against these stones, having our lunch, you know, the prop guys and the sparks and everybody, all of us together. and a bunch of American tourists came round with an organised party. And they were walking around, and and one woman leaned against one of these stones. Of course, it fell over. And I mean, she was in hysteria, not hysterics, hysteria. Oh my God! They've been there for 5,000 years. I tipped it over. Oh my God! Wonder. We just fell over, crawled behind a stone, and started crying with laughter.
That's brilliant.
Oh, and the other one was the same day, actually.
Yeah.
We used the village shop as the post office, in the story. And so at the end of the day, the props guys came along and picked up the post box and took it away, and there's a pile of postcards underneath. People have taken it as a real post box. So to be fair, they did actually post them all. But
they're a bit late.
Yes, just a bit. But one interesting thing, though, which is, I meant to ask Jeremy recently, and I've forgotten. They talk about the church in the book.
Yeah.
They don't exactly say where it is. In Avebury, which is a genuine old stone circle, the village is inside the circle, but the church isn't. Clash of religion or whatever, or superstition, I don't know, but they wouldn't build a church inside the stone circle. The church they built outside the stone circle. And I just wonder, I mean, it's not in the story, but I wonder whether... Well, I found it interesting. Anyway.
Yeah, there's so much about history we just don't know.
Oh, yes, yes.
I love putting the possibilities
together.
Oh,
yes, the possibilities of what could be, if essays, yes.
Fascinating, as is Children of the Stones, which is out now, so enjoy.
Yes, do enjoy it. Go out and buy it now!
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. I've enjoyed it again.
Lovely.
Right.
Brilliant.